Nothing else really to say about that. This felt like I wouldn't say it's not an all-time classic by any means, but this was a pretty solid one here. It was close pretty much all night, back and forth. Red Sox, Yankees. Can't get any better than that. The offense here tonight. It's funny with this offense because they had a lot of opportunities here tonight. They were only 3 for 19 with runners in scoring position here tonight, but they did a great job at keeping the pressure on the Yankees here all night. Sure, they didn't capitalize in a lot of moments here, but they came through enough to win that one here tonight. Roman Anthony, of course, with the dagger to pretty much put it away there in the end. But Nate Lowe, my goodness, Nate Lowe. What a great start he's off to. Had the big home run the other night. Unfortunately, the Red Sox weren't able to come away with the win against the Orioles in that one. But keeping it going here when it matters most. Against the Yankees in the Bronx. Giving them the lead here tonight. Nate Lowe off to a great start with the Red Sox. You just think back here. Over his time with the Nationals. I mean, this guy wasn't able to do anything. I don't know what was going on. We looked at some of the numbers when it came to the swing, his stance, how far he was moving his feet apart, how far in the box he was, how close to the plate he was. We looked at the numbers the other night, and it looks like, he was going a bit back and forth month to month. So I was wondering, maybe there was a little something, maybe, wasn't feeling all right mechanically, and I was wondering, okay, well, maybe the Red Sox, maybe a little tweak. And so far here through the first couple of games, if the Red Sox did tweak anything, it looks like it's working here. He's looking great. Gotta love Nate Lowe so far with the Red Sox. Listen, I'm not going to say the Yankees gave it away here tonight. Obviously, the Red Sox, they did a great job keeping the pressure on them all night, but a lot of Yankee sloppiness here tonight. 4 errors on the night from the Yankees. Luis Heel, Jazz Chisholm, Ben Rice. They all had key moments where they really helped out the Red Sox, but good for the Red Sox to be able to take advantage of those moments tonight. And, hey, listen, we saw all throughout the first half of the Red Sox where sloppy play, bad defense, bad base running, and it came back to bite us quite a bit. So for the Red Sox to be able to take advantage of those situations, you got to love that. Lucas Giolito here tonight. I don't think he was necessarily bad. I just think the Yankees, they did a great job at really running the counts up on him. They were giving him a lot of tough ABs here tonight. There were a few walks from Giolito on the night. Ben Rice, this guy was... this guy just, in his career so far against the Red Sox, he just loves beating up on his hometown Red Sox, man. But Giolito, not a bad night necessarily. He just worked hard here tonight. But this bullpen really came in clutch. Now, sure, Justin Wilson, he was a little hairy after coming in, right? Gave up the run there to Jazz Chisholm off the base hit. But... a little messy after that as well. A couple of walks, but he was able to get the big strikeout there to Ryan McMahon. So, hey, you know what? It is what it is. Greg Weissert came in after him. Solid. Steven Matz, he had to work around there. Again, Ben Rice, once again, beating up on the Red Sox, but good for him to work around a big triple there. Whitlock, Chapman, shutting it down in the end. Overall, good win for the Red Sox. Good win. I think they could have gotten more runs across the board here tonight, but hey, this is the Yankees. They're always going to play you tough. It's always going to be a tough matchup. But hey, the Red Sox, they've done very well against the Yankees up to this point this year. Gotta love it. Good start to this series, 4-game series over the weekend, starting here tonight, running through Sunday. So they take the first round. We'll see how it goes here tomorrow. We also have some other things to talk about here tonight. Big show here tonight. A lot to talk about. Not just this game here tonight, but a lot of roster moves as well. Big call up here today. Yostinson Garcia, the password, coming to Boston. Well, coming to New York, coming to the Bronx here tonight. In, I believe, a Nissan. I think I have that right. Was it a Nissan Sentra that was missing a hubcap or had a replacement hubcap. What the heck is going on? Why can't this man get a little bit of an upgrade there? He couldn't at least do an Uber Black for the password, something? Well, hey, whatever. He got there. That's all that matters. But we'll talk about him here tonight. Big call up there. We also had a couple other guys getting called back up. Richard Fitz making his way back. David Hamilton, not bad out of a night for David Hamilton here tonight. He got called back up. Abraham Toro getting DFA'd. I figured that was going to happen. We'll dive into that one. And then Willie Abreu going on the IL. That definitely had something to do there with the password call-up. So, and then we got Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler as well. We got a little something on Walker Buehler. Some big news possibly from Chris Cotillo. I'll get to that at the end of the show. Everybody, big night here tonight. Lots to talk about. All I ask, just hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 5K by the end of the season here on Massa Territory, brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Big crowd in here tonight. Thank you all for stopping by. A lot of familiar faces here. We got Mike. We got Joe. We got Eric. We got Marco Scuderos, my hero. We got George White. Got a lot of people here in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Let's get to it here. We do have a couple of sponsors tonight as well. We will get to those eventually. Let's start off with... I was going to talk about the offense first. I tend to do this. I have a plan coming in. I got the order, but then last second, I make it audible. So I'm going to start off with Lucas Giolito here first. Let's get into him, shall we? And again, like I said, not his best night overall, but he battled here tonight. A lot of deep counts. The Yankees did a great job at really working those counts here tonight, but not a bad night. He was in the zone 57% of the time, a lot of strikes. I thought the fastball had a bit of life to it here tonight. The slider was getting a lot of swing and miss, 5 whiffs on the slider tonight. Changeup I thought was looking pretty good as well. He just battled here tonight. Second inning, Ben Rice with the home run, and then he bounced back with a couple of strikeouts after that. Fourth inning, Jazz with the base hit. He stole second, and then Narvaez with a bad throw. And then moving over to third base, Goldie with the base hit there. They made it 2-1 at the time. Fifth inning, he walked Judge, but then he got a couple pop-outs there with Bellinger and Stanton, and that ended his night. Not a long night for Giolito, but close to 100 pitches on the night. He got pulled eventually for the lefty-lefty matchup, but again, his pitch count was pretty high at that point, so I think it was best to go to Justin Wilson in that moment. Could you have maybe tried to get one more batter out of him? I didn't think you needed to do that in the end. I think that was the right time to pull him. But then Wilson giving up the RBI base hit to Jazz. So that matchup ended up not working out for you. But, hey, they were able to figure it out there. Weissert, he came in for a clean 6th inning, got the first out in the 7th. And how about Steven Matz? Steven freaking Matz, man. We talked about this the other night where during this season, while the numbers have actually over his career for the most part, his numbers have been good this year, but he tends not to do well in higher leverage spots. And he gave way a little bit there to Ben Rice, got the triple. Yankee Stadium, they were just rowdy after that one, but he really stepped up, man. Ice in his veins, striking out Jazz, got Goldschmidt on the pop out. So Steven Matz coming up big when it matters most. And then that was pretty much all you could ask for at that point, because you got Whitlock, Chapman coming in for the 8th and the 9th. They shut it down 1, 2, 3 for both. Chapman ended up getting his 23rd save. Bullpen, very clutch here tonight. Very clutch bullpen. But let's get to the bats. There is a lot to talk about with the bats. And taking a look-see here. And let's start from the first inning. They were making noise right away. Bregman's story, they got on, but you weren't able to capitalize on that. Again, 3 for 19 with runners in scoring position here tonight. So a lot of missed opportunities here. Second inning, Massa, he got on an error from Luis Heel, and then Seti, this was an interesting moment. Seti had the ground ball back to Heel, and then Massa, he ended up getting out at second, but then Jazz with a bad throw into the stands. Seti ended up going to second on the error, ended up stealing third. Hamilton had the walk, he stole second, and then Rice with a bad throw there, and then Seti was ended up able to score, made it 1-0. Hamilton, he got over to third base, and then David Hamilton, right? A lot of small things with David Hamilton. You know, you go back to the San Diego series where, I mean, the guy's trying to lay down a drag bunt when all you had to do was just get the wood on the ball, move the runner over, but he was trying to, you know, bunt for a hit basically, ended up striking out. So there's a lot of little moments with Hamilton this year, and that was another one, getting picked off at third base. Man, like, it's crazy to me because Hamilton, he's so athletic. He brings so much to the table with his athleticism, and it's just moments like that. He's getting picked off at third. Can't do that. The bottom half, Ben Rice ended up tying up the game with the home run. And then into the third, Bregman with the double. Not a bad night for Bregman at all here tonight. Had a couple of base hits, including the double there. Story ended up striking out after that, though. Duran, Lowe, flying out, so he couldn't capitalize. Fourth inning, you got started again. Massa with the double, but then Seti, Hammy, Narvi couldn't come through. You broke through in the fifth inning. You broke through for a few innings there. Roman, we'll get to Roman in a little bit. Roman with the walk, Bregman with another base hit there. Duran with the base hit, ended up getting the bases loaded. Story, you know, a couple of strikeouts here tonight. So, hey, love Trevor Story this year. Just wasn't able to come through in a couple of big spots. But then Nate Lowe, sac fly there, made it 2-2. Massa with the fly out, though. So more base runners stranded. Sixth inning, Hamilton with a base hit, right? So making up for the pickoff. Narvaez with the walk. Roman base hit, made it 3-3 at the time. But then Bregman, Duran stranding Narvaez. Seventh inning, Story, base hit. Lowe, huge double. Made it 4-3. Again, Nate Lowe, after just the season that he was having, I can't even imagine what's going through this guy's head. I mean, he wasn't able to really do anything. You know, he was hitting for some power, driving in some runs with the Nationals up to this point. But really, I mean, you know, having the worst offensive season of his career, if you go back to what he was doing with the Rangers, you know, he was looking just great with the Rangers, helping them win a World Series back in 2023. So for him to just have so many inconsistencies this year, sure, power, RBIs, but, you know, not great overall offensively, so he's really coming through here in a big spot. Made it 4-3 at the time. Massa with the ground out. Ended up moving Lowe over to third base. And then you ended up loading the bases yet again. A couple of walks, but then Narvaez with a strikeout. Ninth inning, though. Here was the dagger. Ninth inning. Hamilton got on. Error from Goldschmidt. Set up the absolute moonshot from Roman Anthony. Let's watch it again, shall we? 107.4 miles an hour off the bat into the second deck, 370 feet overall. The man flipped the bat. I mean, what an absolute savage to do that at Yankee Stadium in the ninth inning. My goodness. Savage. Roman Anthony. We are just witnessing the Roman Empire right in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. Big win here tonight, 6-3. You got to love it here. We got a super chat coming in. Cesar Rodriguez, $1.99. Also, we had a couple of super chats the other night. I do apologize about that. I will get to those by the end of the show. I don't know how I missed those the other night. I'm so sorry about that. I'm going to be reading those super chats here tonight. There were a couple. Thank you for those of you that did send in a super chat in the last episode. And Cesar Rodriguez, I see you here. $1.99. It feels like the Yankees can't beat playoff teams. I mean, the Yankees, you know, I can't even imagine what Yankee Twitter is like right now. It's not that you just lost, but there were so many errors for the Yankees here tonight. As a Red Sox fan for so many years now, I will always show respect to the Yankees. I'm not going to be one of those where I'm going to troll and I'm going to, say something. I'm not going to be doing these hot takes to try and get a reaction. I'm not like that. I'm always going to show respect to the Yankees, to Yankee fans. It's been a heck of a rivalry for so long now. And, going back to 2003, 2004, man, even the late 90s, man, I've seen how good these Yankees teams can be. And so, yeah. But the Yankees did have a sloppy game here tonight, and I guarantee Yankee fans all across the land are very frustrated after this one here tonight. But getting to the Super Chat there, they are 32-33 against teams over 500. I mean, the Red Sox are kind of right in the same boat. They're 31-31. So, but tonight, the Red Sox getting the upper hand. We are going to get into the Game 2 preview here for tomorrow. And we are actually going to be doing a spotlight here tonight. And we're going to be focusing on one player that I think is going to have himself a big game against Max Fried tomorrow. That brings us to our DraftKings player spotlight. Alrighty, so tomorrow's matchup. We got Brayan Bello, we got Max Fried. Pretty solid matchup overall. Now, Max Fried, this guy was dynamite in the first half, but he's had a lot of ups and downs here in the second half. While Brayan Bello feels like this guy's been on cruise control for like 2 months now. I mean, he's been fantastic. One sloppy outing against the Padres, but he's been great ever since. Let's see how he does here tomorrow against this Yankee lineup. But one man that I'm focusing on for tomorrow in the Red Sox lineup against Max Fried, I'm looking at you, Mr. Trevor Story. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see that line? Do you see that line against Max Fried? 10 ABs in his career, hitting 400, over a 1,500 OPS, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. You know, Trevor Story has had a great year this year. And not amazing here tonight, but I do believe, actually, let me pull up the box score with Trevor Story. You know, he was 1 for 3. He drew a couple of walks tonight. Had a couple of strikeouts. That's fine. Still, you know, was seeing the ball, I felt fine tonight. And with the success he's had against Max Fried in his career, I absolutely think here that he is going to have himself a good game here tomorrow. This is why on DraftKings, if you head on over to DraftKings right now, let's take a look here at the odds for tomorrow's game. Taking a look-see here. I got to move up a little. I can't find there's the game for tomorrow. So taking a look at tomorrow's odds overall, the Yankees are at -1.5. The Red Sox are at +1.5. Money line, the Yankees are at -176. Red Sox at +144. So if you head on over to DraftKings right now, I highly recommend you go with the over for Trevor Story. Whether or not you want to go with a home run, you could go with hits, you could go with total bases, RBIs, whatever it may be. I would go the over on Trevor Story. And we might as well take a look at his numbers overall here over the last 7 games, hitting .321, a .367 on base, .500 on the slugging. Does have a home run in his last 7. So he's been hitting very well as of late. Saw the ball well here tonight. I think Trevor Story is a good pick tomorrow over on DraftKings. And everyone, be right back.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Alrighty, and everyone, head on over to DraftKings right now. Go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code FOUL, that's code FOUL, for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Alrighty, let's get to the rest of the show here tonight. We got to take a look at the updated standings. Let's take a look, see what's going on here. Here we go. Let's get to it here. Well, the Red Sox, they obviously win tonight here against the Yankees. So they have now picked up a game. They are now only half a game behind the Yankees, for the first wild card spot. What the heck is going on with the Mariners right now, man? They've lost 5 in a row. They were red hot at one point. What is going on here with the Seattle Mariners? But hey, they're still hanging on to this third wild card spot. But the Kansas City Royals, they are red hot. They are charging for that third wild card spot. A couple of games back as of right now. The Guardians, I mean, they've been cold too. I mean, they're still 3 games back. The Rangers, I mean, goodness gracious, 5.5 back. All these teams have gotten cold at the absolute worst time. That's the dog days of August for you. But the Red Sox in a great spot. I believe the Blue Jays were idle here tonight. I don't think they played. I could be wrong. Let me double check. Let me double check here. I don't think they played. Nope, they were off here tonight. They were off. Unless I'm completely blind and I'm missing them. Nope. I think they were off here tonight. So, Yankees 4.5 back from the division, 5 back for the Red Sox. Again, we've talked about this. They have a series against the Blue Jays in late September. So if they can make up some ground here, I mean, we got, about a month before that series? I forget the exact date. But if they can get a little closer here, find a way, you could have a shot at this division. It's going to be tough, obviously. I'm not going to say it's, in the bag by any means, but you can give yourself an opportunity here. Let's see. We will see. Alrighty. Let's get to a couple of news, a little bit of news here. And we got some call-ups. And we got a lot of roster moves here over the last couple of days. And we got something on Walker Buehler as well. Very juicy stuff from Chris Cotillo. We're going to get to that in just a second. We do have one more word from our sponsor. I'll be right back.
FT fans, you want to have confidence when you go out in public? Absolutely. We can't all wear a backwards hat like me, but you can get some True Classic fit shirts. It almost looks like, oh, wow, this shirt was tailored for me. Nope, it's every True Classic. This John is soft, it is smooth, and it makes you look a little jacked. I'm just saying.
And Kratz, you are jacked, and you are spot on. True Classic is the spot to go if someone's like, where do I get shirts? True Classic. The colors are fantastic. They've sold over 25 million shirts to more than 5 million customers. Their shirts just win. The feel, the tailored look, the price. We all wear True Classic on FT. I mean, Cam Maben literally can't say enough about them too next time we have Cam on. Hit up trueclassic.com/foul. Give it a shot. Upgrade your wardrobe and save on True Classic at trueclassic.com/foul. That's trueclassic.com/FOUL.
Alrighty. Let's get to the roster news, shall we? Let's go take a look. Taking a look here on Fangraphs. I love me some Fangraphs. They keep everything nice and organized for you so you can just see what the latest is going on with the roster. But the big one here today, Yostinson Garcia, the password, getting the call to the Red Sox. He's been great this year. Overall, down to the minor leagues, 381 ABs, hitting 289, a 363 on base, 875 OPS overall, hitting for power, 20 homers, 73 RBIs. Obviously playing mostly outfield this year, but has been getting some reps at first base as of late, trying to increase that versatility a little bit, just in case you need a little bit of a scouting here on the password. I'd say easily one of the best, if not the best nickname in all of baseball. But Baseball America, that is my source when it comes to anything prospects. Absolutely. Baseball America, well worth getting a subscription, in my opinion. But hit tool out of 45, he has shown in the past where he can get a little too aggressive at times. And the plate discipline has been something in the past. But overall this year, he's been just great. And the on-base out of 355. So that's looking pretty good. And the power. He's definitely got that power upside from the right side. They give it a 55 overall. He's going to be a pretty solid athlete for the most part at a 50, but he's going to be very good in the outfield. Has a very good arm as well. It's funny with, the Red Sox. We've talked about this outfield surplus, and, we've talked going back even, a month before the deadline, we were thinking, oh man, if you can go pull off a big trade, maybe someone like Garcia could be an option because of, so many outfielders that you have. But I would hate to lose him, to be honest, because the difference with him is he is a power right-handed bat. I mean, obviously you got these stud left-handed bats, but I mean, this is a guy that could really give you some thump from the right side. That it would be tough to part with him. I know you got a lot of things going on with the outfield, but who knows? Maybe that versatility, being able to play first base a little bit. Cora has been phenomenal at getting these guys into the lineup, working it around. So who knows what will happen with the password this offseason, but he absolutely has earned this call-up here today for the Red Sox. But if you are watching here on Nesson, we are out of time, unfortunately. If you want to come see the rest of the show, come on over to YouTube, Monster Territory, see what we got to say about the other call-ups, the other roster moves, and Walker Buehler. But those of you on Nesson, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. But here on YouTube, I am going to be staying here for a little bit longer. So taking a look, Richard Fitz getting the call-up, and then when it came to an outfielder coming up, well, you've got to think, well, someone else had to go, and Wilyer Abreu indeed going on the IL, had the calf injury, and I was saying that after that happened against the Marlins, I was saying, listen, don't bank on Wilyer Abreu just missing a couple of games. You never want to mess around with a calf ever, right? You never want to do it. No. Those can get finicky. You got the Achilles, in the mix there. Nah, don't want to mess with that. So obviously wasn't responding the way they thought. It's taking a little time. So I think this is the right move for right now. And hey, it gives the password a shot at the same time. But the other big news as well, Abraham Toro getting DFA'd. And, we all thought this was a matter of time, especially when they brought in Nate Lowe. The writing was on the wall at that point. When Toro first was getting that playing time with the Red Sox, he was contributing. He was doing some good things. And he was even flashing some decent defense, both at third and first. But as time went on, pitchers figured him out, and he just wasn't really able to do anything. And with Nate Lowe, I mean, even if Nate Lowe continued on with what he was doing numbers-wise with the Nationals, and he was putting up the same numbers with the Red Sox, it's still going to be right around what Toro was doing anyway, but the difference with Nate Lowe is he's going to give you good defense at first base, a guy that is an everyday first baseman. He gives you that postseason experience. To me, it's a no-brainer. There's really no argument here, and when they brought him in, writing on the wall. Toro, hey, he had some good moments, but in the end, he just wasn't able to fully contribute. But hey, thank you for the service. I do appreciate some of the things that he did. He came up in some big spots. He was red hot there for a while. And that's what happens every year. Sometimes you're just going to have a guy that gets red hot out of nowhere, and teams are just going to need that sometimes. And he did come up in some pretty decent spots at times. So, Abraham Toro, thank you for the service. We also had Isaiah Campbell, Giovanni Moran getting optioned back down to the minors. Remember Brennan Bernardino, he came back up as well. And the Richard Fitz one, this is interesting. Richard Fitz coming back up, taking a look at what he's been able to do here over his last couple of outings down with the Woo Sox. He's been back and forth all year, but taking a look at the last couple of games here in Worcester. So, he's made a few starts. Yes, going back to August 3rd. Pitching against the Phillies affiliate, the Blue Jays, and the Cubs AAA affiliates. He did very well against the Phillies AAA team. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, had 5 Ks. And then against the Blue Jays, he only went 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned, but he struck out 8. And then the last outing against the Cubs affiliate, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 3 Ks, 3 walks. So I'm wondering, could Richard Fitz maybe be working himself back into the rotation. And you might be asking, well, Robbie, what do you mean by that? What do you mean working his way back into the rotation? You already got your guys in the rotation. You got Crochet, obviously. He's going to be pitching this weekend. Dustin May, he's been solid the last couple. Walker Buehler, Lucas Giolito, Brian Bayo. What do you mean, Richard Fitz? Well, we got this. We got this from Chris Cotillo. Per sources, the Red Sox are discussing moving Walker Buehler to the bullpen. Notably, Alex Cora wouldn't guarantee he'd make his next scheduled start. So, listen, we're talking about the password here tonight. For me, I will say it. Some of you may hate this nickname, but it is what it is. I think he's Mr. Box of Chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. He has been so up and down this year. He's flashed some potential. Looked very good against the Padres not too long ago. Very good against the Phillies not too long ago. But then he's just had these clunkers. And when he got pulled in his last start against the Orioles, that was a red flag to me because he was at 75 pitches. What was it? He went, was it 4 1/3? 4? I can't remember exactly. But he didn't make it through 5. And I thought it was a pretty quick pull. And that showed to me that Cora, he was just lacking the confidence. Like, they have given him a lot of runway here. A lot of it. They have given him so much time here to try and figure this out. But you look at him every single start, and it's a completely different pitch mix every single time. And yes, obviously it's by design, right? They're coming up with that game plan prior to the start. But you see, the best of the best, they usually got a set game plan, and they just go in there and they go execute, and they get good results. But with Buehler, it's just something different every single time. And that's what I mean by the box of chocolates. It's which one are you going to get here today? Is he going to lead with the sweeper today? Is he going to lead with the four-seamer today? Well, what is it? The cutter. I don't know. Every outing, it's like 6 or 7 different pitches. And I don't know. It feels like he has just had a hard time trying to find the feel, especially consistently. He's had those moments, but I don't know. And so this, again, getting pulled the other night pretty early, I thought. And then here, it just says a lot. Again, nothing is concrete. The report is they are discussing it, according to Chris Cotillo. And yes, you can rely on Chris Cotillo. He's fantastic. So you just wonder, is Richard Fitz going to be a guy if they decide to go with Buehler in the bullpen? And maybe that ends up being a good move. Maybe, we've seen time and time again where guys move to the bullpen, kind of takes a little pressure off of them, helps them kind of clear their head a little bit, and they can kind of work on simplifying things. And then maybe you can come back to the rotation at some point, right? I don't think it's a bad move necessarily. Again, Buehler has been a starter, right? He was pitching in relief in the postseason, closing out the World Series, obviously. Hey, we saw how good he was in that role. And with the bullpen being inconsistent as of late, Justin Slayton still looks like he's going to be getting a couple of more rehab appearances. Is it a bad idea necessarily? I don't think it could be. Maybe give it a shot, especially with the bullpen being inconsistent. Maybe that could end up being a great move. Who knows? There's a lot of routine that goes into it. There's a lot of other things at play when it comes to. It's not just playing MLB The Show and you put a starter into the bullpen and then that's that. There's a human being here and who's so used to routine, and easier said than done is what I'm trying to say. So could Fitz get that spot? Could Kyle Harrison maybe get that spot? Kyle Harrison is lined up to pitch on Sunday for Worcester. He's looked very good in the month of August. ERA at 2.25. I would imagine since Fitz is up with the team, I would think you would go with him. You never know. If it ends up not being him, could you give Kyle Harrison a chance? Or do they want to maybe let Harrison kind of just breathe down there and continue to work on things, right? Remember, they did change some things. They went with some different pitches in the mix, lowering some usage, upping some usage. So maybe they feel like They want him to stay down there and continue to work on things, and then he could be a guy that contributes down the road, possibly next season. I don't know. Obviously, they're high on Kyle Harrison, right? They got him back in the Rafi Devers trade. So, I don't think they want to go crazy with him. But then again, he has pitched well this month. So, I think you could go either way here. I am leaning towards Fitz. If they were to go Buehler bullpen, I would think Fitz would be the guy since he's up now. But maybe they want to keep him in a long relief role, middle relief. I don't know. It's going to be interesting with how they go with this. We'll see. I'll lean Fitz right now, but I would not count out Kyle Harrison maybe getting a shot. Then again, this one is probably very unlikely. Peyton Tolley. Listen, I would love Mr. Peyton Tolley. Look, I got to pull up his... I got to pull up the... Hold on. We got to pull up the actual page because we got to see the mustache. I mean, come on. We got to see the mustache. It's great. He looks like Ron Swanson. It's fantastic. My goodness. But Peyton Tolley. I mean, he's only got a couple of starts. He looked a lot better his last time out. I mean, he's looked very good since that horrible first inning in AAA. Gave up 6 runs, but after that, he's been fine. So he's got another start, I believe, tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow or in a couple days. I can't remember exactly. So I feel like this is probably the least likely. I think if we do see Tolley, you probably end up seeing him in September. But then again, they're very high on him. I mean, obviously they are. But this is a guy that has a fastball that can play at the major league level right now. I would imagine they probably would like to keep him there for a couple of more starts. We'll see, though. But I think it is going to be one of these 3 guys. Again, if they go this route, it is not set in stone that Buehler is being taken out of the rotation. It's in discussion. So I would think Fitz, Harrison, or Tolley would be the guy. If you were to go Peyton Tolley, here's my thing. I feel like if you make this move, it's got to be... I did say earlier, maybe Buehler could go back to the rotation at some point. Could this be like a few start kind of a role? I don't know. Maybe a couple of weeks, few weeks. I'm not sure. A part of me wonders, though, if the Red Sox do this, would they rather keep it set in stone for the rest of the year? Because you're getting so close to the postseason. Would they rather have the roles in their order? Or would they rather have the roles set? I'm not sure. Again, in discussion. There's a lot of things to talk about. So this is going to be very interesting. But I do think at this point, with how inconsistent he's been, I think it might be the right move at this point. I feel like right now you're in a postseason race. You don't know what you're going to get with him every single time out. I feel like you got to go with a guy. Heck, even Cooper Criswell, he went on the IL. I talked about him the other night, but he actually ended up going on the IL with some elbow issues. So I was even thinking with him, I mean, this is a guy that it gives you a competitive start, it feels like, every single time. So I think they want a guy that is going to just give you a shot. At least you go into that start knowing that he's going to give you a shot at winning that game. You just don't know with Buehler. So we will see what ends up happening here. Everybody, I'm going to wrap it up right there. Great crowd here tonight. Fantastic crowd. Right around 250 people all night live. You're all amazing. Thank you for that. It's Red Sox Yankees. Yeah, I know you guys are amped. I know you're pumped. We'll be back here tomorrow for Game 2, though. Very excited for Game 2. Just double-checking the start time for... Let me actually just check. Yeah, it's Friday, so it's going to be 7 o'clock. Let me double-check here. The Saturday is at 1 Eastern. And I would think Sunday's got to be on ESPN, right? Yeah, it's on ESPN Sunday. So that'll be a night game. So, yeah, We'll be back here tomorrow night for Game 2. Everyone, thank you so much for coming out here tonight. Thank you for the super chat earlier. Do appreciate that. Oh, really quick, before I do get out of here, I do want to look at those super chats from a couple of nights ago. Again, I apologize. I don't know how I missed them. I'm not sure if you're still here with us here tonight, but I do want to bring these up. I felt so bad because I didn't even notice it until after. Well, I can't even pull them up here on my software, so I'm just gonna have to read them off. So this was from Cameron Breton. Cameron, what's going on, my friend? This was after the tough loss against the Orioles. You said, unacceptable. I'm not even that type of Sox fan. I'm disgusted by this loss. Cannot wrap my head around this game. Despicable. No fight at all. That was a very frustrating game that night. My goodness. I mean, you could see the frustration from Cora. That was a tough one, man. They definitely beat themselves in that one. And then from Conman752, longtime supporter over on the main channel. You're amazing. I know you love your Orioles. Thank you for your super chat. You said, good game, Robbie. This game felt like a bunch of the games the Orioles played earlier this season. Mainly the infamous Nats comeback win that led to Brandon Hyde getting fired. Don't let the O's get hot. Yeah, hey, the Orioles, I think they are going to be a team that they're a huge bounce-back candidate for next year. So, hey, the Orioles, they're showing you something here. I think with a big offseason, all the talent they have, I think they can be right back to it for 2026. So, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joe. Bad losses, that's how you miss them. I know, I think we were all so frustrated over just that entire game. So, yeah, I think that's why I missed it. I do apologize, though, for that. Everybody, go enjoy the rest of your night. Go get some sleep. Go please hug your Red Sox blankets, your Red Sox pillows, your Wally stuffed animals nice and tight. It's a happy sleep here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good night.